Hello, everybody. Welcome to Take the Black Live, the only show on the internet where we talk about things like Game of Thrones, Star Wars, space lasers, dragons, giant lions, hip-hop materials, fantasy, sci-fi, exclusive interviews with Ryan Condal, the showrunner of House of the Dragon, HBO's Game of Thrones prequel follow-up show. I am Dan Selcke, and I am here with Mia Johnson of dorksideoftheforce.com. Mia Johnson, how are you doing today?
Oh my gosh, I'm doing really awesome. I'm pumped for The Mandalorian. So I've just been on running on adrenaline this entire week. I can't believe it's only Wednesday.
Yeah, this is an exciting week. It starts in 0. And yes, hello everybody for watching. We were just a couple seconds late. You can forgive us, Julie, I hope. Hello, Kurt. Hey, Julie. Hey, Josephine. Again, Martha, Josephine. Sorry. Thanks for coming. And we have some good stuff to share with you all today. I thought we would start, Mia. Did you know that the other day, winteriscoming.net writer Corey Smith snagged an interview with Ryan Condal. Ryan Condal, of course, is the television producer behind such shows as Colony. He has a new podcast about Hollywood memorabilia called The Stuff Dreams Are Made Of, I believe. And that was very interesting. But what we really kind of clandestinely wanted to talk to him about was the fact that, it was very cool. His podcast sounds very, very niche. I'll listen to it. But he's also the showrunner of House of the Dragon, the Game of Thrones prequel show that is coming up probably next year. We'll see what happens. Maybe early 2022. 2022, actually, I think is about it. And we wanted to ask him, how's that going? And we did. And he said a couple of things. I thought I would share some with you right now.
Let's do it. This is exciting. This is really
exciting. I feel like it's good. To be fair, he has been going around talking about the podcast, and everyone has the exact same idea, by the way. It's like, so your podcast is really cool, right? You got the Kane from Citizen Kane. That's great. And then 45 minutes in, they're like, so about the Game of Thrones prequel you're managing, how about this?
Yeah, that's natural. It's natural.
It is. And thank you very much, Ryan Condal, for talking to us.
Mm-hmm.
And his podcast partner, who is a showrunner on Veep, by the way.
Wow.
So some big talent here. Anyway, he told us some interesting stuff. He told us, first of all, this is the great Game of Thrones factoid for all you out there, that he originally wanted to make, instead of House of the Dragon, which is about the Targaryen Civil War, which is the Dance of the Dragons, is a show he's working on. He originally pitched to HBO. He wanted to make The Tales of Dunk and Egg, which is a series of novellas that George R. R. Martin wrote, set in Westeros about 100 years before the main show, kind of like a much smaller scale thing about this kind of big, sort of dumb knight named Duncan the Tall, who travels Westeros with his tiny, bald-headed, eventually will be king of Westeros, Targaryen squire, Aegon Targaryen V, the Unlikely. They're really good books. They're really good novellas. What I like about them so much, and what Ryan said too, is that they're very kind of smaller in scale. Like Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon are both continent-spanning wars. But this Dunk and Egg is the novel so far. The novellas are more like it's just these two guys kind of having adventures, which is kind of cool because Westeros has always been Game of Thrones was always the fate of the universe. The White Walkers are coming. It was always so huge. So this was kind of cool that it was smaller scale. And he basically agreed. He said, I very passionately pitched Dunk and Egg as a spin-off idea because I thought that's a great way to go. With the original series, how do you even follow it? It's so big, it's so scopy, it's so successful. The only way to do it is to go against the grain, do some sort of lone wolf and cub, this wandering sorting through the countryside. And then, interestingly, he said that HBO loves Dunk and Egg. They desperately love it, but George really wants to finish writing these stories before that's adapted. I think he wants to be a little more involved with that. So, on the one hand, I get it, because, he went into Game of Thrones thinking, oh, I'm going to finish this before they're done with the show. It'll be fine. And then that didn't happen. So maybe he's I don't want to do that again. With the obvious counterpoint to that being it's great you say you want to finish the novellas before the show happens, George, but what you say and what happens might be two different things.
I know. Yeah, I would hate for that to be put on the shelf just because we're going for that one, bump in the road, or kind of George R. R. Martin basically being this gatekeeper, like, no, it has to be finished. I think that they, with basically all the, this project that they have going on, that takes time to do. And then they would have, if they want to also do Dunk and Egg, that would give them, at least if they want to do a first season, that gives George R. R. Martin some time. Maybe a second season, he would get some more time. But to me, it also sounds like he doesn't want to be distracted from writing as well, because I get that's a lot of like hats to wear to like write and then to go consult on the show. So I get it. But for the fans' sake, I'm like, come on.
I mean, if Game of Thrones proved anything, is that George R. R. Martin doesn't get a lot of work done when he's also involved in making a TV show. So it's that weird catch-22, right? Where he's like, the second you decide he wants to adapt a show based on his work, suddenly the work stops happening. So it's I don't know if that's irony or something, but it definitely is. Anyway, that part was cool. He also told us, Ryan Condal, that just about House of the Dragon. Of course, he came around after he pitched the original idea. He kind of went away for a while, and then they brought him back because they had this whole thing where they had like 5 ideas percolating. And Ryan Condal was the Dunk and Egg guy. That didn't go forward because of George R. R. Martin. They chose the Naomi Watts show, Blood Moon. They made a pilot, didn't like it, apparently, said, no, we're not going to do that, and then came back to House of the Dragon, which was originally developed by Brian Cogman, who worked on the original show. Only by the time they got back to it, Brian Cogman had been signed up for Amazon to do a different development deal. They brought in Ryan Condal, who is now on it, and he knew George R. R. Martin. They were friends from a while back, writer friends. And he said of the new show, he's way into it, we're really trying to approach this show and honor all the things that were great about the original, while not just doing a cover of the song you've heard before. I like that part. It's trying to be original without completely trying to break the box. That's the balance we're trying to walk. And I'm very proud of what we're done. I'm trying to write the series that makes me very happy as a 2-decade fan of this thing. And he talked about how he's been a fan of Songs by George R. R. Martin for like years and years and years. He found the books like 20 years ago when they were still relatively new, loved them, fell in love with them, loved them like Lord of the Rings. And now it sounds like he's a super fan who's getting a chance to have a crack at one of the things he really likes, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. That's always good too, when you can really get the people who like know the material. I was watching something where it was criticizing kind of like Zack Snyder and even Christopher Nolan, like their takes on Batman and Superman. It's like, look, this sounds like it's coming from a person who only read like the most popular comics or the most, to try to adapt what they think is cool. But it's like when you know the material front and back, that's when you get the best results. So that sounds, that sounds pretty promising to me. I don't see any downsides to it at all.
It does. I mean, I really like obviously you want passion. I mean, there could be downsides. I don't think there will be for this, but like there are instances where a fan comes in and like is so slavishly devoted to like, kind of making their fan service version that they don't do a good job, but it doesn't seem like it would happen here.
Yeah.
I'm sure I didn't come with any examples. I'm sure there are some, but we're in a live show. I can't go Googling right now. But I mean, I also like how he said that he doesn't want to make it like a cover of the original song.
Yeah.
And, make it true to the spirit of the original show, but also its own thing, which, granted, is one of those things that's very easy to say and hard to do. But it's also something that I think is pretty vital to making sure a new show is going to resonate. Because, like, look, you can't. I don't want Game of Thrones again. I already had Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
I love the kind of the universe they have. I love the tone. I want a new story, and I think that's a good mentality to have. That we're gonna honor the original show, but we're gonna do our own thing.
Yeah, that is the question to ask. It's like, do the fans want, a cut and copy? Do they want the same thing? Just, now it's got a different story, or do like you saying, do they want a cover of it or kind of this remix of it? I really don't know where I stand on this. That's an interesting debate all on its own, because it's like, you love this thing because of the way it was done. So now that it is going to be done over, are you going to be bored with the repeat, or are you going to be satisfied that they're kind of sticking to the formula? So I don't know.
I'd be willing to repeat.
Yeah, I get criticized by my brother a lot because he says all of the music I listen to sounds the same, and like this one guy, every single album sounds the same. I'm like, I kind of like that because I know it's always consistent, but I get that, you know, sometimes you want a little variety. Yeah.
I mean, it's that whole thing where you have to find like something that we didn't know we were missing in our lives. We didn't know we needed until we hear it or see it, and we're like, oh, I can't live without this.
That's true.
It's that magic bullseye that everyone wants to hit very, very hard.
Yeah.
But yeah, he also told us that Paddy Considine, the guy who's playing King Viserys Targaryen the First, was their first choice to do it, cool. Which is great. And again, thanks so much for talking with us, for talking with Corey. Ryan Condal, I hope we can talk to you in the future too about your podcast with your podcast partner and about House of the Dragon. A pleasure speaking with you on behalf of Corey Smith, who actually spoke with you. I did not speak with you. Okay, let's see what some of the comments are saying. The tone is the important thing, says Martha. I agree. Yeah, it's not like the events are different, but you do have to nail kind of the houses versus houses, the vast scope of the politics. And we want the same intro, says Kurt. You know what? I wouldn't absolutely hate that. That intro is so iconic and good. Yeah. You know, da 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 da. Maybe it has a few more seasons left in it before they completely retire. What do you think? I'm not even entirely joking.
Reusing the theme song. It gets you pumped. You know, it's like Star Wars whenever you hear da-da. Right, different movies, same theme song. So yeah, that could be.
Yeah. It says Kurt also says I love spinoffs. Duncan would be great, but we're still high off Wolves and Dragons. I agree with George. Finish the book first. Oh yeah, I agree. It'd be nice to finish the book first. I just yeah. We'll see.
Well, next month is was that National Writing Month?
Yes.
NaNoWriMo or whatever. Yeah, so perfect opportunity.
Oh yeah, that's what he needs. That was the missing ingredient. What was NaNoWriMo? As Julie says, I would love to see Sears and Dunk and Egg. They were an easy read too. They were. Again, it was this pleasant kind of laid back approach to Westeros and Game of Thrones, and it's just like a lower stakes version, which I really did enjoy because I don't know. Sometimes like not everything has to be about the fate of the world, you know. Like sometimes you can just have like a fun little side adventure and it can be just as satisfying if you just focus on the characters. But maybe we'll get a Dunk and Egg show at some point.
That'd be exciting.
Yeah. Okay. Any other thoughts on House of the Dragon or Game of Thrones prequels before we run on the next topic, Mia?
Oh man, no, I don't think so. Awesome interview, and yeah, I hope he comes back for some more.
We'll be rolling out some articles on it all this week, so feel free to stay tuned. And by the way, if you're listening out there, we are available in podcast form on iTunes, Google Play, wherever podcasts are available. But now, Mia, we it's 2020, or it's the back half. Is it the back fourth yet? Oh, I don't know months. Yes, it is. It's the back fourth. October, November. Yes. I don't know why this took me so long, but yes, it's the back fourth. It's been a difficult year. Things have not gone according to plan, but something that has been nice, the television. Some good shows on this year. The Boys season 2 made a lot of waves. Lovecraft Country was a lot of fun. There have been some good things to watch. And Mia, it's not over.
It's not.
It's not over. I thought in this kind of last segment, we could go through some of the big TV shows coming up this year, and maybe like the very start of next year, like sci-fi and fantasy stuff, and say how excited are we on a scale of whatever you want to whatever you want, because there's some good stuff coming up. Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
And all you out there, how excited are you to watch any of these shows, or are you at all? Do you plan to? Maybe we'll change your minds. Let's see. Okay. First on the list, I think we're doing this in chronological order. Coming up on literally Friday, you mentioned it. You know him. You love him. It's The Mandalorian coming to Disney Plus on October 30th, the second season of the first ever live action Star Wars program. Mia,
Ew.
are you excited for this?
Oh yeah, I am. It's cranked up all the way to an 11, baby. I am I am sweating, I am shaking. I can't believe it's finally happening. It still doesn't really seem real.
Really? I mean, because honestly, it was only a year ago that it aired its first season. I mean, like
Yeah.
by today's standards of like Game of Thrones and I don't know, Westworld and other these big dramas, this is coming pretty quick.
Yeah, I was really, I think when we were talking about this way early in the beginning of the year, even the spring, and you were like, they're still on track for October. I was like, there is no freaking way. We've got COVID. We've got, it's just the production overall is so high quality. It's like a movie basically. And I'm like, how can you turn that
All
out,
shows are now.
within a year? Yeah. So, my hopes are extremely high for this. I have no reason to be disappointed. I really hope that doesn't happen. But yeah, they've drawn up a lot of hype over this, last month since the trailer came out. And all that.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited.
The world is hyped. I mean, I said before, I loved the first season. My favorite Star Wars thing I've ever seen, period. Like, again, not a giant Star Wars fan, but that I liked a lot. I hope they stick to the kind of again, like not low stakes, but like comparatively small scale. Like they kind of have a Dunk and Egg thing. It's Mando and Baby Yoda traveling the universe, getting into scrapes and adventures. That show is pleasantly simple, where it's just these two guys having all kinds of wacky times around the universe. I really like that about it, and I want it to keep going in that direction. And the first season was so good, I'm going to give the benefit of the doubt until I have a reason to say otherwise. So I'm going to give this about an 76 out of what? That's none of your business. But that's where I am excitement-wise.
That's cool. Yeah. And, we've been talking about this a lot. Like they're kind of cutting it real close to maybe breaking outside of their original mold because they've got all these characters who are supposed to be cast in it. And now it's kind of like a branching off point for some spinoffs like Ahsoka Tano. Mm-hmm. There might be, Boba Fett or, all these sorts of people who could be in there. It's really like they're just picking literally anyone now from Clone Wars or Rebels. And they're probably going to be in there. Like if you were in that show, you might be in The Mandalorian. So I don't know what to expect as far as that and them being interconnected, but I do hope that they still keep it subtle. They still keep it just like you said, the adventures of Baby Yoda and Mando. I've been rewatching season 1 and it still knocks it out the park. I was like, that's good. Something else.
Yeah, fingers crossed. And as Karen says, that's because it's Disney and not HBO, presumably how they get it out so fast. I mean, I don't know. If you can do it that fast and do it efficiently and safely and not like hurt anybody, I say go for it and do it well. We'll see if it pays off in a couple of days. All right. What about after that on November 15th, we have the 4th season of The Crown, which I know isn't a sci-fi or fantasy show, but it sneaks in here because it's like about kings and queens and they all wear fancy outfits and crowns and stuff. I mean, I'm not kidding.
That's true, yeah.
That's why it's on here. It's about royalty. I mean, historical fiction is kind of our niche a little bit. I've always liked the series. This series is so interesting because I talk about like stakes. The Crown, which the 4th season is going to have some cool stuff. It's going to have Elizabeth Debicki as Princess Diana, obviously a pretty big modern royal figure to our popular imagination. And Gillian Anderson, Scully on the X-Files as Margaret Thatcher, British Prime Minister. Who, by the way, how are we doing?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do my Margaret Thatcher impression.
Oh, God.
The Falkland Islands belong to Britain, and I want them back. There it is. Margaret Thatcher impression. Are you excited for The Crown at all, Mia? Season 4.
You know what? I've never really kept up with The Crown, but I watched, I don't think I've watched really any of the trailers, or I might have watched the first couple episodes of season 1. But I think there was something about this one that were like, Lady D is going to be on there, and I watched the trailer and all that, and I got kind of excited about it. I don't know if it's just because of her mark on pop culture. So for me, it's kind of, even though I wasn't really a part of that generation to begin with, so
She
kind of
does cast
having like that,
a long shadow, doesn't she? In
yeah,
one of her
like
books.
having that Meghan Markle feeling, or Kate Middleton feeling, like, oh my gosh, there's a new princess and all that. Um, so yeah, this one looks kind of interesting. I tweeted, I was like, I might just catch up on The Crown just to see this arc. And
Sure.
it's kind of weird. It's like you've got this heroes and villains. You've got Diana, then you've got Margaret Thatcher. So
I mean, I agree with you. Like, I have watched The Crown. I've enjoyed it. I've always like struggled to really love it just because it's so. It's got this weird combination of we're technically incredibly important and powerful, but the stories themselves are like of the royals doing the piddliest little nothings, and like, but they're all treated like it's a big giant deal. Because
yeah,
like I have to choose a stamp, or like this. I don't know. It seems like the life of a royal is pretty boring, I guess, in the 20th century.
yeah, it's no
But
Downton Abbey, I guess. Which
but
Downton
I
Abbey I love. That was very, to me, and I didn't mean to cut you off.
oh,
That
no,
one
it's
still,
okay.
has that aristocratic feel to it, but the drama felt a lot realer. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah.
No, I totally hear what you're saying. But Lady Di and Margaret Thatcher do have me interested, so I might dip back into it because I have watched it, but I kind of like fell off around season 3.
Yeah.
But again, the power of celebrity might bring me back in. All right, moving on. After that, on November the 16th, the day after, I don't know if they coordinated that, we have the second season of His Dark Materials, which is an HBO's adaptation of Philip Pullman's His Dark Materials books. I read the books a while back just for fun, liked them a lot. They're very, very popular books in Britain. They're kind of like, I guess they're kind of young adult books, but they were like, they're one of those ones that were like written before it was a thing. Like, so they didn't know they were young adult books. They're very kind of like a mannered fantasy series. Very interesting, very charming, very imaginative. I liked them a lot. The first season I thought was good, very well made, very like well crafted in that like impeccable HBO way.
Yeah.
I thought like some of the juice from the books was missing, but the second book, The Subtle Knife, is probably the best in the series of the trilogy, and this is going to be the first time it's been adapted. And I have hope that they'll, I don't know, juice things up a little bit with this really good source material, and just avoid some of like the kind of weird missteps made in the first one, which was still good, just not everything I was hoping for an adaptation of this beloved fantasy series. Mia, do you have any thoughts on His Dark Materials?
Yeah, not entirely. I can't believe it's been over a year since I saw the Comic-Con panel where I'm even drawing a blank. I know Lin-Manuel Miranda was there.
Yeah.
And who's the lead? The young woman.
Oh, Daphne Keane.
Yes, Daphne Keane.
He was Lil Wolverine from Logan.
X-Men. Yeah. So she was there as well. And so I remember kind of like seeing the previews for it and just like kind of being like, it's not really my cup of tea, but I can see why, so many people love the books and you kind of wanted your redemption from the movies.
Yeah, no
or
one
so I've heard. So did this series at least redeem, that movie, or at least the first movie that came out that's kind of like, here's a better adaptation of it?
I think most folk are pretty in agreement that it was better than that. I mean, it was just weird because like they introduced some elements from the later books like really early, and I didn't quite know why. And I was like, it was very slow paced, especially in. I'm not sure it needed like the full suite of episodes it got. It's one of those shows where I'm like, you can cut out a couple of these and you'll be fine. But again, the second book is stronger in general, and I mean, all like the pieces are there. The acting's quite good. The production is very, very good. Like the writers come highly recommended. Like it's all there. They got everything they need. It's gonna put it together and like put the Legos where they need to go to build the robot or whatever they gotta do.
And I think Andrew Scott is gonna be in this.
He is. Andrew Scott is in it.
Yeah, hot priest. I love his accent when he's like on Sherlock. He kind of talks like this. I love that so much. He's a great actor. So I don't know if I would watch it just for him, but I think he just won an Olivier Award too. I think
I don't know.
Or I don't remember what he's in, but maybe I don't know.
Yes,
He's
he's
in
going
addition to the cast.
Give it some hot priest hype. It looks like Mark Hunter, who I believe is Sir Mark Hunts on YouTube, watch us. Hi, Mark. Good to see you.
Hello.
All right. So yeah, for that one, I am giving it 18 robots out of 20 salamanders in terms of my excitement.
I'll give it one Lin-Manuel Miranda.
There you go. On December 16th, we have the 5th season of The Expanse on Amazon, which is a program that everybody seems to love that I can't fully get into. It's Game of Thrones in outer space. You know, it's our future. We've populated the Earth, Mars, and the asteroid belt. And there is a, you know, simmering political conflict between these three things. Are we all going to destroy each other? Can we live together? Together, are we going to live? And it's been on for 5 seasons, has a huge fan base. You like sci-fi stuff, Mia. Are you into The Expanse? Would you try it out? Is this when you're going to get on board?
I was gonna watch it this weekend. I don't know what happened. I think I ended up going shopping, and then my dad called me, and I got this laundry list of excuses. But I did want to check it out because you keep saying that it's something that I should, you know, maybe judge for myself to see if I want to watch. So it's definitely on the list after I get this whirlwind of a week after The Mandalorian.
Sure.
And I've got some time to watch it before season 2, so that's good to know.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. I figure just given what you keep saying about like what the kind of stuff you like, it feels like you might enjoy it. But I don't know. You can tell me, and then then we can.
Okay. Do you know? I didn't Google this. Is season 1 on Amazon Prime now, or would I have to?
I believe everything's on Amazon Prime. I was watching season 2 the other day, trying to get back into it. It's a good show. It's well done. It's just I don't know. It doesn't seem to have like the sexiest of Game of Thrones, maybe. Something's not quite clicking for me, but I'm gonna keep watching, and I'll try to pick it up when it comes in December.
Yeah.
All right. Next on the list, we have The Stand coming December 17th to CBS All Access, the mini-series adaptation of Stephen King's enormous American post-apocalyptic Lord of the Rings-like fantasy. Like, this is one of his biggest books. And that guy writes a lot of big books. Like, this is him in like full 70s, 80s Coke binge write mode, like writing for 48 hours straight, not stopping. It is an important Stephen King work. His stuff has been getting like more and more adaptations lately. Everything from Castle Rock to It has been a big thing. And now they're making The Stand with some good people in it too. We've got Alexander Skarsgård as the villain, Randall Flagg. He's kind of like Satan incarnate, basically. We got always dependable James Marsden as Stu Redman. Yeah, he just shows up in so much stuff.
Yeah,
it's like call James Marsden is on a lot of people's short list, I think, in Hollywood, because he's so dependable, and his cheekbones can like cut ice with them. Still,
that's very true.
Are you familiar with The Stand at all, or with Stephen King's oeuvre?
Oh yeah, I believe we talked about this a couple times because it's kind of like that post-apocalyptic narrative that we were like, oh, is this something that, you know, should be put out right now?
Yeah, it is about a plague that wipes out most of humanity, which funny timing. Funny timing that. Oh, and Whoopi Goldberg as Mother Abigail. So this has got some stars in it.
Yeah. Gosh, you know, James Marsden, if you tell me he's in it, I would, you know, automatically run to it. The only problem is the door is closed and I don't have CBS access. I really don't plan on getting it. I really don't. So
I mean, look, there's other ways to get it. You could ask somebody, or you could, I don't know, choose another path, a dark path. But we won't talk too far about that.
Yeah. So I wonder how this will turn out. Maybe if CBS does the Paramount thing where they merge and they get kind of all the Viacom properties, maybe I'll subscribe to that. And then, you know, sometime in 6 months, you know, they'll fill Kiwi's spot and I can get this and watch The Stand.
Well, Mark says he's a big King fan. I plan to watch it, Mark, because I am. I mean, like, for one thing, I like that this is just a miniseries. It's not like season 1 of an 8-season show that I'm going to have to follow for the next 8 years of my life. This is like going to be one story that, you know, has stood the test of time. Like Stephen King books, you know, he has his lovers and his detractors, but he can tell a good yarn, and this one is a pretty dependably good yarn, even though it has some of those like Stephen King weirdness stuff. I agree, Mark, by the way. The Outsider was terrific, and they're having a second season of that. So I will watch this. I'm planning to watch this. I'm not sure if I have CBS All Access, but I'll find a way. Because I like the story. I like the cast. I like the fact that it's going to respect my time.
Oh, yeah.
And I just want to see how big they can swing. I also like the original miniseries back in the 90s with Lieutenant Dan in the James Marsden
Oh,
role.
really?
Gary Sinise, yeah.
I love Gary Sinise too.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll just watch the old one in lieu of watching that.
Do it. It's one of those ones that's like, it's good, but it was clearly like made in the 90s, you know?
Yeah.
Like you look back and yes,
Tim
like
Curry.
the 90s. It's more expensive than that.
Okay.
But not much more expensive than that.
Okay.
It was good though. It was fun. And Mark News synopsis of those books. Plague wipes out humanity. Uh-oh. And Julie might give it a go if we get it here, which we'll see. Hey, Jen. Good to see you. And as Christian also agrees, Outside was very enjoyable. Can't wait for the stand. All right, we got some standards. I'm going to call us standers. Standard bearers.
The
Let's go with that.
stands.
Oh, there's so many possible permutations of this. All right. I think we're getting to the end here. And finally, dipping into next year, on January 10th, we're going to have the third season of American Gods by Neil Gaiman, from the book by Neil Gaiman. Okay, this show has had an interesting past. Are you familiar at all?
This one I barely know.
Okay, so I'll lay it out quickly for you. Like, I read the book a while back. It's one book. Like, this is the opposite of The Stand. If like The Stand is a really big book, they're gonna do one miniseries and respect your time. American Gods is like not that big a book. Like I read it, it's not huge. We're on season 3, so they are stretching this one out.
Yeah.
The premise is cool. It's gods are real, like all gods, like Thor and I don't know, Osiris from Egyptian mythology and anyone you can think of from past and present. And they all kind of come to America with the immigrants who bring them with them. And then there are new gods that we, dream into being of things like technology and media and probably iPhones now because he wrote the book a while back before that was a thing. And they're all kind of at war. In the middle is this character, Shadow Moon, Ricky Whittle, who's kind of like a demigod guy who there's trying to kind of negotiate the war between the new gods and the old gods. It's cool. And Gaiman is, of course, a very famous, very respected, very, very smart, very clever author who does his research into like things like mythology and just a good storyteller. Ian McShane is playing Mr. Wednesday, who's actually Odin. He's kind of the sort of anti-hero, I guess you might call him, bad guy, good guy kind of thing going on. He's great because Ian McShane's wonderful. I watched the first season and it was good. I mean, it was kind of stretched out because, again, not very big book, but we're on season 3. But it's fun. I mean, I love all the gods and their crazy powers, and it takes risks. Like I think Marilyn Manson's going to play like the god of volcanism or something in this one. That'll be cool.
Oh.
Does any of this strike any chord with you, Mia? And this interest you?
Some of his work, I know his work is very popular. Still, there's something about this. I don't want to say it's too out there. I bet it's really good because I've heard some good things about it. I know the cast is pretty good as well. I don't know if it's worth my time right now, unfortunately.
Yeah, I understand it. It is kind of an in-between one. It is in January, so maybe everything else will be done by then. Yeah. It also has like a really troubled past, the show. Like there have been like 2 separate showrunners who have left, and it's only on season 3. Now they have a new guy who used to do The Walking Dead. Like a bunch of cast members left, like Gillian Anderson, Margaret Thatcher, was on it once as media. I love my Margaret Thatcher impression.
Yes, very good.
It lost Orlando Jones, who was very a very public split with it, accused them of basically being racist and not kind of prioritizing his character or like focusing on him enough. It lost it lost Kristen Chenoweth as kind of the god of the harvest.
Yeah.
So
wow. Yeah.
it's had like a lot of turnover. But I kind of respect that it's still like picking itself up and going on, I guess. That's cool.
Yeah.
Whether it's worth watching is a closer call.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, good for them. That's what I'll give it, a good for them out of 10.
All right, so exactly, I agree with you. Good for them out of 10. So of these shows, what are you most excited for? Name like your top 2.
Okay, well then I guess The Mandalorian is already number 1. That was a lock in. And you know what? I'm also gonna have to give it my number 2 spot to The Crown, because I think that was the other one where I was actually kind of like, okay, I might have to come back to this. So those are my 2. How about you?
I do Mandalorian, obviously, and I think I do The Stand. I am looking forward to that. Like some type of a giant king epic that is stood the test of time. Any other things looking forward to, Mia?
I am the Doctor Who I think the holiday special. Is it
that's coming
New
up
Year? I think they used to be Christmas specials, but now I think they've switched to New Year's special. So I'm looking forward to that. And I thought there was something else too, but that one for sure I'm excited to get back into Doctor Who again. I've been kind of missing it.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And yeah, anyone out there looking forward to something? And of course, long term, House of the Dragon. Oh my God, what happened? What?
We forgot a big one. WandaVision. That's in November.
Right. I did forget WandaVision. I'm looking forward to that one too, actually, because that looks weird.
Yeah, that's gonna be really, really cool. I already pre-ordered 2 of the Funko Pops for them. I was like, I haven't even seen this, and I've already ordered, 2 Funko Pops.
I think tomorrow on the WiC Club we're talking about merchandising, so I can excoriate you for that practice there. Here's the WiC Club, by the way. I'll just have a link right here to find out more about it. And we can pretty much sign off. Long term, looking forward to House of the Dragon, of course. Thanks again to Ryan Condal for talking to us. We'll be kind of rolling out a bunch of interview stuff with him over the week, the rest of the week, into the weekend. So stay tuned for that. WiC Club information is right there if you want to get exclusive videos and articles and prizes. If you would click on that link. Otherwise, lots of stuff to look forward to. And thanks everybody out there for watching. Mia, you have anything else to say before we sign off?
Oh, no. We'll be back. We can talk about The Mandalorian next week. Yeah.
Oh, we can. Very exciting. Oh, Christian agrees. Mandalorian in the stand. And bye, Julie. Bye, everyone. We will see you next Wednesday at 4 p.m. Central Standard Time. Bye.
Bye.